Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm glad you're back to the Prolific Mindset Podcast. Hope you had a great week. You had a successful week. Hope you had a great weekend and a safe weekend. And everybody that's in Miami, hey, I know it rains every day, but don't let it stop the show. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. I understand times are tough right now in this economy. Things are getting more expensive. Uh, Stress is getting on us a little bit more, but hey, say your affirmations in the morning, say your prayers in the morning. Before you walk out the door, before we touch this, that we act like this is a Bible to us. Don't touch this. Just spend the first 10 to 15 minutes in straight silence and just think about how you finna execute today. Think about how you want your day to go. Speak it into existence. Go into the mirror and talk, but don't touch the phone. Don't let us not touch the phone. Let us not worry about what's going on. Let's worry about how we are going to enjoy the day. But today we have another incredible guest. Let me kick the story to you. My man name is Eric. When I first got it, not in the first NFL, when I first got my first large check, I really didn't know too much about like health, like how guys get gigantic, muscle bound, healthy and all. And at the time I went to Elite Health, and Eric was the first person I met. And he was like, Rick, we finna get you there. And I was like, let's go. And next thing you know, I'm on a bike with a damn mask on. I felt like one of the Nike commercials or something. I'm on there just like, man, how long you got to be on this? He was like, just stay on there. Don't worry about it. It'll just get harder. And the bike just kept getting harder and harder. And from there, we created a bond. We created a relationship in that space, but also even just personal, just checking up on each other, seeing how each other doing and things of that nature. But hey, man, I'd like to introduce my guy, Eric.
So my name is Eric Bustillo. Thank you, Ricky. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a registered dietitian. I've been one for many years now. I kind of lose count. Once it passes 10 years, you kind of have to start doing math.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's like after you turn 30, you got to start doing math. I'm like, how old am I? I'm also certified as a strength coach and a personal trainer. I stay involved in research and keeping up with the latest science on health, performance, wellness, prevention, all those things. And I guess in short, a little bit about my career. I don't just focus on performance, but it's also a matter of health and well-being. I think that, like, for example, in elite level sports, we have to consider what's the most important is going to be performance, right?
Right.
Bigger, faster, stronger, maybe leaner, and all of that. But being someone who is a healthcare professional as a registered dietitian, I've always thought, how can I get those things and try to maintain health? Because if someone's not healthy,
Yeah.
then what's the point,
Right.
So for me, it's just a matter of like, I've always understood the blood work side of things, the exercise and sport science side of things. So the max that you were talking about,
Right.
you were on a metabolic cart. So it was a VO2 max test. How much oxygen is your body taking in? How much carbon dioxide are you putting out? And that tells me like what your body's using for nutrients, like how much like fat and carbohydrate. It can tell me about your exercise and training. It's really cool stuff. So I've always been like a nerd for those types of things.
Right.
And as my career has advanced, I've always been into things like stress management and also inspiration. Like, one of my hashtags that I think I invented it. Maybe somebody else did before. Who knows? But it's MTWABP, make the world a better place. And I think each one teach one. Be the change that you want to see
Facts.
in the world. And so anything from science, I'm like a geek for it. And how can I educate people on it so they could become better versions of themselves from a health standpoint? But then also reminding them like, hey, we're gonna die one day. So hopefully we can practice empathy, be kind, and live life to the fullest,
Hello, you said more than 10 years?
Yeah.
20?
Yeah.
It got to be that because I've been in the league for 10 years, so that you got to be 20 plus. You
I've been doing this for
25 plus probably.
Nah. I mean, in total, we're probably looking at like around 15 or so. If I were looking at like the early days, like even like when I was a student and whatnot, but professionally, I've been a dietitian for we're coming up officially on about 13 years as a dietitian.
Right.
So anything before that, So I mean, around 15 years, let's just say.
What made you get where did you start? What made you want to get into this space?
Man, that's a good question. I Part of it is that I think this kind of planted the seed for me. My maternal grandmother, so my mom's mom, she had type 2 diabetes. So there's type 1 diabetes, which my girlfriend, she has type 1 diabetes. Type 1, it's not really controllable. It's just kind of like your pancreas basically stops producing insulin. And insulin is that hormone that, like when you eat a carbohydrate, your blood sugar goes up a little bit, or like your body notices, hey, like sugar is entering the system. And you can't have very high blood sugar levels because it could be dangerous for your health. So then once the body gets those signals, it releases insulin from your pancreas, and then insulin kind of grabs that sugar. It puts it either inside your cells so that you could use it for energy, or if it's in a caloric surplus, like if you're eating too many calories, it can help maybe store it as fat for later usage.
Right.
So with type 1 diabetes, you can't control it. It's basically an autoimmune disease. It's like your body attacks itself. Type 2 diabetes oftentimes is just lifestyle related.
Right.
So what happens with type 2 diabetes, and now we're seeing a lot of, unfortunately, you're seeing a lot of children. I mean, like they don't have as much PE programs. The food that they're eating probably isn't the best. So you're seeing children with type 2 diabetes. Historically, type 1 diabetes was the pediatric diabetes.
Right.
But now, because we're seeing a lot of babies carrying excess body fat, or children carrying excess body fat, that leads to the cells being affected in how they can function. So what ends up happening is that they end up developing. So now they kind of put these two words together, diabetes and obesity, and they're calling it diabesity. So you have obese children with type 2 diabetes. So anyway, my grandma had type 2 diabetes, and I think growing up, seeing her like have to pay attention, like how much sugar she's eating. And I've always had a sweet tooth.
Right.
I've always, like really, I'm not endorsing them or anything like that. I'm not sponsored by them, but Oreos, if you're paying attention and you want to sponsor me.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, boy. I eat Oreos. I try to keep the Oreos away from him. My son get a pack of them shit, and I be like, I ain't gonna eat it now. I ain't gonna. Let me put this roll right quick. Let me take this roll thing. But yeah,
Full sleeve.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Yeah. I mean, so I've always enjoyed sweets, and just growing up, I remember my mom telling me like, don't eat too many. I think just because my grandma had type 2 diabetes, so I would watch her like do the finger stick, put the little slip into the machine, check her blood sugar levels. I would hand her the little vial of insulin, because now you got to inject insulin if it gets to a point where it's bad enough. Type 1, from the get-go, they need to inject insulin.
Right.
Type 2, it can be controlled via lifestyle, but if it gets to a point where it's really bad, then they have to start using insulin to help control their blood sugar levels. So my grandma would do that. And I think that kind of planted a seed. I mean, I've always liked helping people. It's always been something that I've gravitated towards. I've liked seeing people succeed and like being a part of that. When you were in the Super Bowl against the Eagles, that was a hard day for me because I hate the Patriots.
Oh, man.
Because I'm a Dolphin fan. But I was like, Ricky's a Patriot now. So I was like, I didn't know who to go for. I was like, I'm going for Ricky, but I want the Patriots to lose, but I want him to get a ring.
Everybody was coming at me with that shit. They was like, yo, I want you to win. I'm like, but I got a Patriot on my helmet. No. I don't want them to win. I just want you to win. But I didn't realize how many people did not like the New England Patriots when we went to the Super Bowl. They were like, we want you to win, Rick, but not they. I was like, how did that go? But I feel where you coming from. That was a very common statement that week when we were playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But anyway, just kind of getting back to the story behind it all. I think that in wanting to help people do their best. And I remember even when I was in high school, like people would come to me for advice. And similar to something that you had mentioned to me is that you've always kind of gravitated towards like older people.
Yeah.
I've noticed the same about me. I mean, I've always gotten along with anybody. Like it could be a 3-year-old kid and we're like playing and having a good time. It could be a freaking dog. Or when I was a kid, we would go and watch the boxing matches. Like growing up, my grandpa, my brother, my dad, myself, we would watch the Tyson fights. We would watch Oscar de la Hoya and so on and so forth. And I remember being at my grandpa's friend's house and just getting along with this guy that was like 70 years old. And I'm like a 10-year-old kid or, something along those lines. So anyway, I think people have always kind of like looked to me for advice for whatever reason. My friends jokingly call me CrossFit Jesus because they look like Jesus. But I think that kind of started it all. Funny enough, I don't think you know this about me. When I first went into college, I wanted to be a sports agent.
Oh, okay.
And I think I started looking into what it took to be one, like I guess what classes or whatever. And something about it was just kind of like, I don't know, it doesn't interest me. And then my brother was the one who planted the seed. He was like, why don't you look into being a registered dietitian? This must have been 2006 or something.
The good old days.
The good old days. And I was like, I have no idea what a registered dietitian is. So I looked into it and I was like, dang, I could help people perform better as an athlete. I could help them be healthier. I could practice something called medical nutrition therapy to help them hopefully prevent a disease. But MNT, medical nutrition therapy, is meant to help manage or treat a disease through nutritional routes. I was like, this is pretty awesome. So then I went to FIU, Florida International University, got my bachelor's there, became a dietitian, and went on to get a master's in applied exercise science and sport nutrition. And I'm actually currently going through a PhD program. So that's kind of a short, long-ish story of what kind of got me into what I'm doing.
I heard you say one thing about like with kids, like, and I heard I don't know what Kennedy that's in the office. I remember he said back in 1975 or 1980s, they will always put out the statistics about how many kids have like you said diabetes, how many have this disease, that disease, this disease, and they stopped it all of a sudden. And I was like, damn, why would they stop something like that? And I feel like at some point they started pushing more of, how can I say this? And I'm going down the rabbit hole for a minute, guys.
Let's go. Let's do it.
I feel like they wanted to control population. So why would I make the people more aware of what's going on? Why would I tell you this many people have AIDS, this many people have HIV, this many people have this disease, these people have meningitis? Like, why would I keep telling them that? And as time went on, and I remember hearing him during the debate, he didn't care about becoming the president of the United States. He was just trying to make us aware of what was going on in the health industry. Because I feel like if you ain't got health, you ain't got nothing. God bless the dead. One of my favorite innovators is Steve Jobs. And just hearing him on that last interview, he was just talking about he got all the wealth in the world, but he don't have the health. And you said it yourself. Like, if you ain't got health, damn the wealth. Ain't nothing else to it. So what I'm trying to get back to is what do you think is going on that now, I'm gonna say like we're early 2000s, that now kids are being obesity, kids are coming up with more diseases, kids are just like, kids ain't built like they used to be. And I'm not saying because of them, but what's going on in the food, what's going on what we're not getting, what's going on that's not allowing the kids to be what we once was.
Yeah.
And like how you saying, like eating sweets, it was cool to go eat some cornflakes and all this, but now you look at it and you look in the back of that box now, it's all these chemicals and all this stuff, and then it's like, damn, we wasn't thinking of this when we was eating Honey Nut Cheerios. We wasn't thinking about this when we were eating Frosted Flakes.
Nah, at all.
So now it's like, it's so much going on. So what do you think is going on now that is affecting the kid, and what can we do, or advice from you, what could you do for kids that they can start going towards that healthy route, and not just saying because they're a kid and they're young, they were like, oh, you can eat this, you can eat that, you can eat this. What could you give us advice on what we need to start doing to help our kids make sure they can live a longer life than our great-great-grandparents? Because my grandfather lived 93, his father lived 103. You don't hear those numbers like that often no more in the United States.
Not very often. This is kind of like it's a pretty deep answer, like a multi-level.
Okay.
Answer. I think now I'm not exactly sure what it was. I want to say it's probably RFK that you were referring to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is that he said that isn't published anymore. As far as
I got to look that up what it is, but it's something that used to always come out in between 1975 and 1980 was the last time it was published, and it showed everything that kids or adults or what America has going on. And then they said after that, the number skyrocketed, but it wasn't published anymore.
Okay. I mean, so and again, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I know that we have access to a lot of information on those statistics. Like if you look at the like CDC statistics, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, they're putting out information for people to read. Now maybe some people read it, maybe some people don't. Maybe some people make a big deal about it, maybe some people don't. And it'll have statistics on like amount of individuals in the U.S. with type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, obesity. These are the statistics that we get, that around 70% of the population has obesity, is overweight or obese, actually.
Right.
But now the way that you define obesity currently is through BMI, your body mass index. That's just a height and weight calculation. So take someone like yourself. You're a dense person. You got a lot of muscle mass on you.
Right.
BMI is not telling us, oh shit, Ricky has a good amount of muscle mass. Like, we know that when you get to a certain percentage of body fat and above, there's increased risk of diabetes, cholesterol issues, blood pressure, cancers, and so on. But we still need some body fat.
Right.
Like, body fat is important for hormone function and production. We need it for absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, and K, that respectively they all do different things in the body. But we know that obesity rates have gone increasing. And I will say this, like, if we're talking about the general population, because you could be over-muscled, if you will, like you could have a lot of muscle, and fall into the overweight or obese category. But it's because it's a height-weight calculation. If you have a lot of muscle and you're lean, it's still going to say that you're overweight or obese, depending on how much you weigh for your height. But I think, you know, we're not an over-muscled population.
No.
Basically.
Yeah.
In fact, majority of U.S. adults are not meeting like standard exercise guidelines. Most adults are not lifting weights on a regular basis, which leads me to the next point of children. Now, there are some statistics out there that we could easily look up, either from CDC, the NIH, the National Institute of Health. Statistics are there. We know that childhood obesity rates have skyrocketed. And I think that a big part of everything is the physical activity component. Have you ever seen the movie WALL-E?
Yeah.
So we're kind of living through WALL-E right now. Like in WALL-E, everything was robots and they were doing everything for us. People got a little too large to walk around, so they're like in their chairs. And I don't want this to sound like if I'm hating on large people. I want everyone to be healthy,
right,
and living an optimal life, right? But we're not as physically active. I do think that the younger generations are kind of picking up on we should be more physically active. Historically, like people would blame their metabolism. I got older. My metabolism, this and that. Is there something to that? Yeah, I think there might be something. But if you take a look at like, what does your life look like when you were, for a lot of people, their heyday. I was in my prime when I was in high school. And
yeah, everybody said that.
You know, I played football in high school, or I did whatever when I was in high school. And it's like, all right, cool. What happened after high school? Let's just say, to kind of generalize here. After high school, if people went to college, they went to college, and what's that famous freshman 15, as they say, you gain 15 pounds
right,
your freshman year of college, because either stress and studying, partying, all that. So then in college, you maybe you worked out a good bit, or maybe you didn't. Either way, post-college, people start getting into work, and work becomes their main focus, and they maybe don't make health a priority. So what ends up happening is you wake up in the morning, you drive to work, maybe you drive to the drive-thru to get a quick sandwich at
right,
whatever fast food chain. You get into work, you're sitting down for 8 hours on the computer, whatever it is that you're doing for work. Maybe you take lunch, maybe you don't. If you do take lunch, maybe you're sitting in your car. Maybe you're sitting in front of your computer while you're working, or maybe you're just sitting in the cafeteria or hopefully you're outside and you get to like a park bench or something. You finish work, you drive back home. Maybe you pick up at a fast food place, whatever your dinner is going to be. You drive back home. Now you get home, you sit down, and you just watch TV. There is no physical activity.
No physical activity, yeah. Right? No physical movement.
And the food choices that they're making are probably not the best. So from that, and also another side note is that I'm not someone who says that this food is bad or whatever else. Like, I don't think that they're inherently speaking, no food is bad unless you're allergic to it. If you're allergic and your throat closes up, that's bad.
That's bad.
Right? We don't want that. But like, I'm not saying that Oreos are the most nutritious food in the world. They're definitely not. But the poison's in the dosage. We're really good at over-consuming.
Right.
So a side note to the whole, like, you get home and you watch whatever show you're catching up on, a lot of people gravitate towards alcohol. And I'm not making this some kind of crusade against alcohol or anything along those lines, but we've made it like it's almost like too normal to overconsume alcohol. If you enjoy your whiskey, your scotch, your rum, your beer, your whatever, cool. I'm all about moderation. Even with alcohol, that people are going to say alcohol is poison and this and that. I'm like, listen, like, the poison's in the dosage. If you can have one drink and control that, then you're in a good spot. But this over-normalization, if you will, of over-consumption of alcohol, if you get home and you feel like you need the drink to kind of like take the edge off, that's not normal nor healthy behavior.
Right.
When you do drink and you're enjoying wine and you're drinking the bottle and the whole bottle of wine is the norm, that's not, and you're doing that regularly most days of the week, that might be why you're feeling tired and so on and so forth, right? We kind of have these like coping mechanisms, I feel, that aren't in our best interest, or at least for our health.
Yeah, right.
So I think kind of all of this is like spillover into children, not the alcohol piece, but children, like, there's not as much PE class as there used to be.
Shit, it's only 30. My son told me they only go to PE for 30 minutes. I was like, what the hell are you going to do? Warming up going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. What we do another 15? But no, you are right. I see that. Like, they're cutting down on, like, physical activities. It's crazy. The only physical activity I really see is people that are in optiments or sports or something like that. But in school, like, it kills me with my son. I'm like, yo, y'all in the school all day? It's like, so you tell them you're sitting inside the school all day. Y'all never really get to see the outside, be a part of the sun, the wind, the atmosphere, anything. And then when y'all go to pee, it's only 30 minutes. Yeah. So I'm like, what could you possibly do? We can't even get a good game of kickball in if no 30 damn minutes.
At all. Is it every day? Do they have pee every day, though, or no?
No. See, that's the thing. It's not like everybody don't have it every day. It probably might be every other day. What? I know people got block scheduling, depending on what type of scheduling, probably 2 or 3 times a week, depending on how your schedule is, that you do it. But like you saying, like, it's really no real physical activity. Hell, when you go outside on your neighborhood block, back in the day when we went out, we bikes, skateboard, football, everything. We stayed out. Our parents had to call us inside. Now I don't see a kid outside because they ass is on the VR, they're on the iPad, they're on PlayStation, and like you're saying, they're eating all this junk food and then taking. I just feel like I feel like with kids these days, and it's just my opinion is, I feel like because we're not educated, or like how you saying, our priorities of health are falling down that top 5 and going down to 5 and almost stretching down to 6. That now when kids coming in, okay, school over with, like you saying, they've been in school all day, they've been sitting down, they come in, take the clothes off, do their homework, they're going to sit back down and chill and get back on the game. We'll eat some hot Cheetos or eat something. There's no real physical activity. Unless you're an athlete that goes to baseball, basketball, football. Imagine how many kids that don't play sports. What about them? Because I know it has to be more of a higher rate, the kids that don't play sport, that do play sports. So what about their health? Like, what are we doing to them? Like, how are we educating parents to say, hey, yo, we need to eat this. We need to eat some greens. We need to eat some vegetables. We need to eat some apples. Because I know a lot of my friends, when they come to my house, they get mad as hell at me. They're like, Rick, what we got to eat? Some apples, pears, pineapples and shit. They be like, bro, you ain't got no real food? And it's crazy to hear somebody say real food is like snacks. That's not real food. Like,
who's literally real food?
I noticed this. And I noticed this about a lot of people. I know a lot of people that eat out all the damn time. But I bet you can't. I always tell people, I bet you can't eat a real cooked food, a real cooked meal, You can go eat a biggie bag of McDonald's or something, and yes, still be hungry. But I bet if you go home and you actually cook a meal, bet you can't eat the whole thing. The same way you ate that fast food, you cannot eat that home cooked meal the same way.
Yeah, that like if you cook at home, it's gonna more than likely be whole food, minimally processed, and that sort of thing, filling, right? Now, foods they and this is where some of where we're at now with the state of health has to do with part of it is capitalism, and I kind of think we're living through like maybe the worst parts of capitalism right now, which is like maybe it's a hot take, and also consumerism.
Right.
The United States thrives on consumerism. It's our economy. So when you look at nutrition, if you're a food company, what do you want people to do? Eat your food as much as possible and buy it as often as they can. So you're going to try to figure out a way to make it, there's a term called hyper-palatable. Usually hyper-palatable foods are a combination of carbohydrates, usually sugar, like refined sugar, fat, and or salt. And a lot of times it might be all three, like the three-headed monster.
Right.
Those things. That makes you be like, damn, this tastes really good. It's easier to overconsume. It's not very nutrient dense. So nutrient dense is going to have unsaturated fat, protein, fiber, plenty of micronutrients like your vitamins and minerals and all of that. If it's not nutrient dense, but it's calorically dense, now you're looking at the chips, cookies, crackers,
right,
and those things. I mean, think of it like this. If you, and this kind of goes to your example of eating at home versus not, what children are doing or what we're doing to our children, at the end of the day, and this is a message to the parents, you're in control. Like, make the decision for your children. I know it's easier said than done. There are some picky eaters and whatnot.
Very.
But still, at least have these things available to your children, right? The fact that you have fruits at home, I think is great. Some parents won't have that. But then there's another topic that I'm going to get back to. Think of, you have 2 plates. And to me, both of these sound delicious. Over here on this plate, we have, let's just say, salmon with a nice bowl of salad. Something I usually tell parents, children, athletes, like I do a lot of work in the tactical athlete space, like police, fire, military. Look for color as often as you can on your plate, like a variety of color. So get greens, get blues, get basically what I'm painting here. Salmon, a nice mixed green salad. For me, I love white rice and black beans. I'm Cuban Colombian. I grew up on that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I love Cuba. Hey, I love food. It's a melting pot down here.
Yeah, amen to that. So then you have all that. That's a lot of color. White rice, black beans, greens, salmon. Let's throw in a piece of avocado. Maybe some strawberries on the side. A crap ton of color, plenty of nutrients. To me, that sounds delicious. And a glass of water. Let's say let's just say it's 500 calories.
Right.
Right? You eat that, you're probably going to feel pretty full for some time. It's going to be very satiating. I feel full. I'm not hungry for another, a couple of hours or something like that. But then on this plate, you have 9 single stuff Oreos and
double stuff?
Single stuff.
Single stuff. Okay, okay.
Stuff. Yeah,
I see they came out with the new double stuff. I'm not a fan of the double stuff. I'm like, yo, I don't want to eat all this cream. I want to eat the cookie. Like, I want the cookie, but hey, teachers though.
The ratio's not there.
Yeah, it ain't there. It's more cream than cookie, man. I'm not down with the Oreo. My bad, Oreo, but y'all killing me with the double stuff.
Yeah, do better, Oreo. Do better. But now, I don't discriminate on an Oreo. I'll eat the double stuff. I'll eat the mega stuff, but single stuff is my go-to. So you have 9 single stuff Oreos and a little bit of milk. That's also 500 calories. Which one are you going to eat faster?
Of course, the Oreos you're going to eat faster. Yeah,
dude, 2 minutes. 9 Oreos and milk are going down. Which one is going to make you feel full? Probably the one with
salmon. The salmon and all that. Yeah.
So the picture that I'm painting here is once you finish those 9 Oreos, you're going to be like, damn, that was good. I want more. I'm not full. So what do? I get 6 more Oreos.
So that's what you're saying is the intake. Yeah, overconsumption. Now I see what you mean. Yeah.
That's it. So now, and that's a big part of it. So it's like this, the consumerism aspect of nutrition is one. I also think that and this was the other point that I was going to make, there's something called social determinants of health. Social determinants of health are kind of dictated by where you live, play, pray, work, where all these things are kind of happening, the things that you have access to. Bill Gates. Everyone knows who Bill Gates is,
All right.
I think. One of the richest people in the world, founder of Microsoft, all these things. The story of Bill Gates started when he was in around middle school. What did Bill Gates have access to when he was in middle school? Supercomputers.
Yeah, he was the first one. Yeah, I think his dad or somebody. I remember that story. His dad or somebody gave him a computer. Yeah.
It was something along those, or maybe I think it was that there was a program at his school that gave them access to computers in some way, shape, or form.
Right, yeah.
And from there, he had a repetition of practice and hours on whatever this is. That's a matter of exposure and, luck is also a part of it.
Right.
Because he grew up wherever he grew up. If he was in Miami, Florida, I don't think Miami had any of those things happen. I don't think.
Depending on the time, yeah, we probably did.
Right now, there's iPads and there's all these things in schools. And
Sky the limit of what you can get access to, yeah.
It's crazy, right? But it's a matter of access. You just said the word. Social determinants of health. Do you have access to good quality food? Safe parks to play in, right? Is there education there? I was giving a talk one time early on as a dietitian, and it was just like a community center. So I have always recommended focus on getting more protein. Like that's one thing that I think right now the recommended dietary allowance is 0.8 gram per kilogram of body weight of protein. I think people should aim for 1.4, 1.6 gram per kilogram of body weight.
Why is that?
Of protein. I think we're not getting enough protein, but we're getting too much of everything else. Or if we are getting enough protein, we're also getting too much of everything else. So it's like our hunger signals are off. People tend to gravitate more so towards like carby and fatty food.
Yeah.
But if you focus on getting enough protein, that'll help at least the overconsumption issue, at least in some way, shape, or form. So focus on getting enough protein. So when I was giving this talk at this community center, I was like, we want to make sure we're emphasizing protein. So then I asked the people in the community center, can you guys give me some examples of protein foods? And a gentleman raises his hand, slightly older gentleman, and he says, rice. In that moment, it hit me, and I was like, technically rice does have some protein, but it's more of a carb source. It hit me, and I was like, education. This person doesn't know that rice is not necessarily if you tell me chicken, eggs, yogurt, fish, a protein shake, whatever, if you tell me these things, then, okay, now we're talking protein foods. But it hit me, and I was like, and this was a not very well-off community that I was speaking to. And that there, everything kind of connected for me. Mind you, early on in my career, and I was like, dang, imagine if I'm going around telling people, make sure you eat more protein, assuming that they know what it is. Social determinants of health. This person didn't have the education to know that rice. Imagine he goes home and tells his wife, honey, dietitian at the clinic today or at the community center today said, we got to eat more protein. If she doesn't know any better, and he says, we got to have more rice. Now you start having more rice, not enough chicken, not enough beans, whatever. So those social determinants of health are a big part of it. What do we have access to? And then this is where the race conversation comes in also, right? I'm not turning it into black versus white or Hispanic versus whatever, but generally speaking, you see black and Hispanic communities tend to be the underprivileged ones, the undereducated ones, and whatever else. In black and Hispanic communities, you also see higher rates of hypertension, blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes.
Right.
It's an association, but at a systemic level, we can do way better by having better physical education programs in schools or as a part of these communities. We can have better nutrition education programs by teaching children and parents, hey, this, that, and the third. And something I recently changed my mind on was the SNAP program, like food stamps. I used to say, freedom to be able to just get whatever you want. So who cares if soda is available on food stamps? And recently I'm kind of like, nah, you know what? If it's going to be something that's government funded, maybe it shouldn't be on there. Or if it is, it should be more expensive on the food stamps. Like the broccoli and chicken breasts should be more affordable, and maybe the Coke should be more expensive, or just don't offer it.
Right. Oh, yeah. I get that now. Cause if that soda's more expensive, you ain't gonna be so attractive to go get it. That sound about. They should do that. Hey government. Hey if you looking at this show, I think you should do that because that'll cut down on the lot. Cause if you got food stamps, no way in hell you I'm just saying randomly, you shouldn't be obesity. You shouldn't be obese because if you got food stamps and like you saying, if they put it in like, all right, the broccoli may be $3-4, the oranges may be $2. Like now that's becoming more affordable because it almost seems like even like with regular food, you go to a fast food spot, I can go and grab a burger or something for $2 or $3 or $1 menu. But if I walk inside, depending what store that may be, whether it's Whole Food, Publix, or Winn-Dixie or Walmart, what I'm about to go in there for is going to probably 5 things and the shit going to cost me like $200. So I understand that the fast food going to look more attractive, especially like you saying, if your funds ain't right, you're going to go that direction. Even though there's other food out there they possibly can eat, but like you said before, if you ain't got education on health, like you saying, I wouldn't think like what you just said, eating proteins. The only reason I know, I'm like, I know that's carbs, but is that protein? And you tell somebody that, they're going to load up on some goddamn rice. They're going to load up on what they think that is protein. But sure. I just feel like there's no excuses now because I feel like everybody has access to the internet. The same way you said about Bill Gates. We have some type of access, whether it's your phone, whether it's your iPad, something. You can go to the library. Hell, all you needed to do have a library card just to go to the computer. But we have access to all this information now, and I feel like going down the rabbit hole, that we have so much access to information, how to get information. We've been trained for so long, we didn't have it. And now since we go on the phone, and what kills me about like our cell phone or iPad, text message, social media, and phone calls. That's it. But this phone or this electronic has all the capabilities in the world for you to even learn. Even ChatGPT, hell, even AI right now. Yeah. There's no way, no how you could tell me that you can't have a nutritionist or you can't say like, hey, how many grams of this or should I eat this or, go back to your My Chart and see what you need to do. Like we have so much access to things that we shouldn't have an excuse, but because we've been trained for so long and had this mindset and don't have the access to the education, or better yet, we lack trying to go seek for the education. That's why we're in the position we are now in obesity, diabetes, and all these other diseases that are slowing our population down. Because I heard the other day, like in China finna break a damn world record for the most, I think 105-year-old, 106 years old. We don't even got that. It's like a celebration when we see somebody in the United States saying, oh man, they got to 100. It's a celebration. But in China, that shit's second nature. To get to that age, people like, oh man, they're old. But when you see these people from other countries, they still moving around, they're still exercising, they're still running. You see people still running races, marathons and shit. But in the United States, we're not because we're pushing another agenda to put more money into those big companies' pockets and say, yo, we're not going to worry about the health. And plus, that's why our age in the country is, I think, life expectancy, if I'm not mistaken, 65, 70.
I think currently it's somewhere around 70, 76.
76, okay.
Around there, something like that.
But I can only imagine what it was back in 1990.
I mean, we've seen like ups and downs
right.
as far as life expectancy. And actually just recently, so I'm a part of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, and we have a journal where we publish papers, and this one's not out yet, but it's coming out soon. It's a review paper.
Where could we go find it?
If you find it on JIS, if you just look up like JISSN, the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition,
okay,
it'll show up. And these are like peer-reviewed research papers and all of that. But we also publish reviews. So a review is like we look up the available data and literature, and then we kind of like break that down into a particular topic. So we'll do things on creatine, for example, as a supplement. We'll do things on protein, diets for body composition. Just recently, we published a paper that was about supplements and common like maybe myths and misconceptions about supplements. Are they regulated? What does the law say? Where to find good information for supplements and all that.
Right.
The one that we have that's in the works is just awaiting approval to be published. It has a section, which was a section that I wrote about, on longevity. And for longevity, the way I define longevity is living as well as you can for as long as you can. That the conversation of lifespan and health span. So lifespan is how long, like birth to death. Health span is how long you're basically healthy for. So like free of disease.
Right.
So what I found in that research was that Mediterranean and Japanese style diets offer maybe the best for longevity. It's a variety of nutrients. There's plenty of color. It's a lot of whole foods. So that's something for people to keep in mind. And maybe we could implement some of those things here in the US potentially. But also I found that, you mentioned this, people moving, people doing things.
Right.
That's very important. We are not meant to be sedentary. Like humans are not meant to we're not meant to be alone, and we're not meant to be sedentary. Which leads me to the other part. Community was a big part of it. So my brother and I starting up the Man Cave, the men's support group, people need people. People who are living to a very old age. And let's say 85 and up, we'll consider that like pretty old. And if you're getting to 100, a centenarian as they're called, like that's pretty cool, especially if you're able to do stuff.
Yeah, still able, not just sitting there, not being in a wheelchair, but can still move around and be active.
For sure. You know, a quick tangent. I had a patient once who was a billionaire. That's a B, billionaire. But they needed to be pushed around in the wheelchair. Like their wife became like the primary
caregiver, yeah.
Like, and I don't remember what it was that happened that led them to that state of health. But in my head, it's kind of like we pursue making as much money as possible, which, I mean, whatever, I'm not going to knock it. But like, at what point is enough enough? Like, do you need $1 billion? Or how many millions do you need to get until you're like, I'm okay, my family's okay. Let me prioritize my health so I could actually enjoy this, right? So in these communities, people have each other, right? They have their families. There's a respect, this like reverence for older individuals. That I don't think we see that much over here. Like someone gets old, put them in the nursing home.
Yeah, I realized that. I think that was different cultures. I know I say that a lot, that I'll move, like I'm going to use this for Hispanics. I see this shit a lot. When I used to always go to their house, I would always see like an older lady, older gentleman, like who this? Oh man, this is my grandfather. And to the point I started seeing people, great-great-grand people standing there, and I was like, oh shit. And they would be taking care of the kids. And it was like, I'd be like, what keeps y'all around a long time? It was like the kids. The kids keep us up. They keep us running around. Their schedule became these kids' schedule.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, why don't we implement this shit in all cultures? Like you saying, there shouldn't be no such thing as retirement homes. They shouldn't be. The retirement home should be living with your kids. And I understand everybody ain't got the great relationship with their loved ones, and we need to change that. We shouldn't normalize not having a great relationship with our loved ones and our elder. But somebody was telling me when they was in the house, they was telling me, they was like, this is what keep us alive, those kids. He was like, if those kids stay alive, they gonna stay alive. And they'd be the one who feeding the kids. So a lot of the foods you think they want to eat, fast food and stuff, they're eating what their grandparents eat that got them to the age that they're at. So it's like, we need to start normalizing certain things. And I feel like you said, it's not a cultural thing, but you see it so much. Like I can use prime example. I went to, I think it was who played down there? Damn, it was not a World Cup, the FIFA Cup or something was down here. And who was playing? Messi was playing. Argentina was playing somebody, I forgot.
Was it when people went crazy in the stadium?
Yeah.
Colombia.
Colombia.
Where my dad is from. So I saw that and I was like, shit.
So
making us look bad.
so I went to a restaurant. I was sitting there with one of my son's friends' dad, and he was like, yo, Rick, have you ever been to a Colombian restaurant? I said, nah. I usually, my thing, I'm going to walk in, get something to eat, and come out. But I was sitting there, and you were just seeing like elderly people sitting in there playing with the kids, running with the kids, the food coming out. I'm talking about this massive ass size of food coming out, and everybody's eating, but they're still enjoying themselves. It ain't like how we say we get the itis. Wasn't no itis. Everybody ass was up, was still moving. I'm like, yo, can I get a soda? It's not a soda. It was like certain different, like, it was like a champagne. They called it a champagne, but it wasn't. And now it made me start like, let me try a different culture of food. And when I started doing different culture of food, it was like, yo, our food is not like this in America. So it'd be like now, like, yo, give me a food plug that I can find the best Cuban food, the best Puerto Rican food, the best Indian. Like, go find that because it's healthy as shit. Like, we're used to over in America steak, this like chicken and all. I'm like, yo, what else it is out there to eat? And when you do, like we tell people, like I tell my friend, you got to open up your palate. You're missing a shitload of things out there because you won't open up and eat. But because we've been trained or put in this box for a long period of time, it's hard to escape. And when you do, now you're trying to get the others to do it. They're looking at you like crazy. Like a lot of my friends won't eat oysters. A lot of my friends, when they think about going to sushi restaurants, they thinking about off top, the food is raw. Like they're not doing that. Or like they go to like Cuban restaurants, like they have a lot of stuff. They have a lot of foods. Think about this, guy. When you go to a Cuban or any Hispanic restaurant and you get in that white plate, notice they would stack that shit to the top. But if we go to an Americanized place, Chipotle, they giving your ass portion, acting stingy with the damn scoops and stuff. And it's like, why would I want to go to a fast food chain when I can just go to this mom and pop Cuban, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Italian, whatever, go to their restaurant and I can get a whole shitload of food. Probably I can't finish eating, but I bet I won't be hungry for the next few hours compared to me going to a fast food restaurant and doing that. One question I want to ask you, because I know you're in the space. How do you feel about Ozempic?
Man, that's a good question. I think it's a tool. There's a time and place for it. I think it could be useful in some cases. The problem with this, and I was asked this question a couple of years ago, and I was like, my fear is that it's going to become the next, like, cheat, if you will, the next like little hack. Instead of putting in the work, people are going to gravitate towards,
and that's going to be the work for them.
And unfortunately, that's what we've seen in some cases. I don't want to generalize. Like back in the day, there was the medication phentermine. It decreases appetite. It could mess with your blood pressure, but it helped people lose weight by just eating less. It took away the appetite. The HCG diet, you're injecting yourself with a hormone that's basically produced when like women are pregnant, kind of thing. But the diet was that you're eating 500 calories, literally. Like with Ozempic, physiologically it's doing something, right? It's telling our brain you're not hungry. Like it's decreasing these signals for hunger. And it could also be used for like addiction as well. So like this stuff works, like, and it works well, generally speaking.
But wasn't Ozempic, and somebody told me this, please correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Ozempic meant for, think, diabetic patients?
So that's a part of it, right? Because if someone does have type 2 diabetes, again, just kind of generalizing, type 2 diabetes is often accompanied by or brought on by excess body fat, which for a lot of people comes from not enough physical activity and too much consumption.
Right.
So it can help with type 2 diabetes. It could help with weight loss. It can help with addiction. It's a really good tool for people to have. The problem is, are there side effects? Sure. For some people, it might be like GI issues, like their gastrointestinal tract. One of the biggest things that we see, though, is because there's this decreased appetite, now it gets hard for people to have, again, I'm generalizing here, but it gets hard for people to have energy to work out. And you should be lifting weights because another one of the side effects that we've seen in papers is that there's muscle loss. When you lose a crap ton of weight, you're going to lose muscle and fat.
Right.
We want to try to preserve muscle as best as we can. Lifting weights, eating enough protein consistently, and also getting an adequate amount of calories, which is hard because if you're on Ozempic, you're eating Ozempic or the similar like GLP-1 agonist drug.
Right.
So that's a part of the problem. So now it's like recently, like Serena Williams became like a brand ambassador, and I think her husband might be like one of the owners.
One of the owners of it, I think so.
Something along those lines. And it's like I'm not saying that she shouldn't take it, but Serena was like the face, the epitome of like women in sport. It's all right to be thick, strong. Like you can still be a badass and do these things. Like don't tell you that women cannot.
Right.
And I don't know the whole story, but now it's like she's the face for this like weight loss drug. And for me, I have conflict there because people should be able to have access to something that helps them be healthier. But what was it? Like, did she try hiring a dietitian and a strength coach? Maybe, maybe not. I can tell you that I had patients come up to me and ask my opinion on whether or not they should go on Ozempic. One person in particular sticks in my head. She was already skinny. She was like, I just kind of want to lose like 5 more pounds. And I was like, you want to fucking go on Ozempic?
Did she have 5 pounds to give?
In my opinion, no. She just needed to start lifting weights. And that would have been the best thing for her to do. But there's this body image thing, right?
And I hate the body image is controlled by the stroll. I call it the stroll. Because what everybody doing, Instagram all day, social media.
I call it the finger treadmill.
Oh, I call it the stroll. So what people see so much, I need to look like that. And it's sometimes like how you saying you need to lift, you need to eat right. When I see people like on Ozempic, I feel like they don't educate it. Yeah. Like somebody came out and say, hey, yo, it make you lose weight, it make you look better. And that's it. Like, damn, you ain't figure like you ain't get educated enough to figure out what do this shit have, what's all the benefits and what I need to do for this to be beneficial to me and have longevity. I feel like when people finally started using it, the gyms got emptier. You see Lululemon used to be 3Xs, them shit's going down to 2Xs, and right now they stock is all the way the fuck down. Nike, like, if you go to certain clothing, I bet you don't find a 3X. Certain clothing don't go no more because because they seen how much Ozempic, or now I'm seeing this competition with other other things that's like Ozempic. Yeah. Now people are not doing certain clothing. Certain clothing is hard for my big ass to find, and I'm down to a 2X.
Okay.
So trying to find certain clothing, people would be like, "This is as big as we go is 2X." Even like I said, Lululemon used to be 3X, and they tailor. So now companies are tailoring down because we know everybody is taking this drug. Somebody is taking it. It shouldn't be called a drug, but the way, like you saying, people get so addicted to it, they gotta be on it. They gotta be doing it. And the only thing I pray and hope that we all get educated when we take these beneficial things is make sure you know the good side and the bad side and how to do the best we can to stay away from the bad side. Because now I know lately they start saying that on TV that Ozempic is doing something to some people, like your pancreas. Like a lot of people would take it and be fucking still smashing out food like crazy. Now you making your pancreas work 1,000 times more than what it's supposed to because you don't have the education. All somebody told you was, and I'm gonna use this for our culture, for black people, because this shit kills me, that as soon as somebody say it makes you get skinny, everybody just said, fuck the gym. They started just taking this shot, trying to find some people. Bro. They trying to find people to bootleg the shit. Oh, we got something like it. And now you don't understand. Now your life expectancy has been cut short because 1, you didn't know what the benefits was. 2, your ass is still eating the same. So what was the point of you taking it? And 3, the only reason you taking it because of the stroll. Because of the finger treadmill. And now you want to be a part of it because you think that's attractive. And we don't even realize that shit not even healthy for us.
Yeah, there's and again, there's a time and place. It can work well in some cases. And I'll tell you, it's not just black folks. People gravitate towards, like companies know what they're doing. They're going to tell you, oh, this is your problem. They're going to say all the key words. Look skinny, feel this.
The trigger word, I call them the triggering words, yeah.
It's going to sell, right? And then they're telling you this is the problem. I'm selling you the solution. Here it is. And what is it? It's all the body image things, right? So like Serena Williams, like embrace being strong. You know what I mean? Like there's the rugby athlete. Her name's Alona Mar. She's probably, I don't know, maybe she weighs like 200 pounds. Solid. Like embrace that. You're an athlete.
Do she play? No, she can't.
She's a rugby player.
But no, I'm trying to think. She don't. No, all blacks are a male team.
Yeah, and they're from like I think New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah.
She's like from the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I even see it with my girlfriend. She's a great athlete, and like people are also stupid on the internet. She posts something like shows her muscles or whatever, and you'll see either trolls or just like insecure dirtbags that get on there.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, that's got to be a man. Oh, she's on steroids or testosterone. And I'm like, I try to stay away from the comments, but sometimes I'll drop in and I'll be like, she's probably got more testosterone than you because you're a bitch. But
nah, you telling the truth. you telling the truth. You gotta tell her how you see it.
But that goes into the body image things of it all. I think ultimately we have to just kind of like, we have to help people see that they can do certain things. You know what I mean? Like we have to educate them. I think that's an important part. There's access to information. There's good information. There's bad information, right?
But how do we weed through that shit in this space? How do we weed through that?
I think learning who is a credible source, like how people speak. A lot of times when people speak very definitively, like in black or white, especially in nutrition and in health, like I think those are like red flags.
But how like those credited people, how do you know if they're not getting paid or they're not getting incentivized to say, hey, yo, we need you to say this? Because we see a lot of people, depending what the face is, they be like, yo, go say this good. Knowing damn well you know it ain't good, but because you're getting paid and you're a credited voice to people, how do you know, like, okay, they're not being incentivized to, you know?
That's where I think transparency is important, but we don't get full transparency, sadly. You know, I think of myself as an expert and someone that people can trust in the field. And if people ask me a question, I'm comfortable saying, I don't know, but I'll get back to you, right? There's a lot that I do know. There's way more that I don't know. I think if someone can admit that, that shows, okay, like maybe I could trust this guy, but we want someone who has all the answers. But if someone pretends to have all the answers, they're probably just making stuff up. They might be getting paid. Like, I can tell you, I'm not really getting paid. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, you see Electrolyte Boost on here. I'm part owner of this company. It's a waterless delivery electrolyte supplement. But I'm not running around telling everyone you should be on electrolytes. Like, there's a time and place for you to use electrolytes as a supplement.
Right.
A lot of people could just benefit from adding some salt into their food or whatever. Right?
Well, since you brought that up, tell us about the electrolyte boost. Tell us about it.
So it's just it's kind of, you remember Pixie Sticks back in the day?
Yeah.
It was just a candy.
Yeah.
Powder that you pour into your mouth. Electrolyte Boost is basically that. It has a nutrient in it called cognizin, which is a acetylcholine supplement that's been beneficial or shown to be beneficial for brain function. So you can look at potentially enhancing memory, supporting with just like paying attention. And it's not caffeine. It's not like a stimulant that makes you be like wired and whatnot.
Right.
And it also has B vitamins that help with things like stress management, depression as well. It's been shown to help out. Vitamin C for just like immune function. And of course, electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium. So typically now we see a lot of, you got to pour it into your water.
Yeah.
Shake it up and you drink it. Nothing wrong with those. This one is just for maybe certain inconvenient cases. It was actually invented for gamers, like people who play video games.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be getting up. Well, not they shouldn't, but they don't want to get up and go to the bathroom, right? So this is something you don't need water with it. We're not saying don't drink water. You still need to hydrate, but Electrolyte Boost can kind of help out. So you pour it in. It comes into your system. I feel like a little bit of a brain boost come from it, and knowing that it's going to support things like my immune system and overall energy. I like it. I also recommend it to people like truck drivers, police officers on patrol. Athletes can use it, just the ratio on it, as far as like overall electrolytes, it might not be very high, where if you're someone who's sweating like crazy, you might need a little bit more sodium, for example. I mean, you could do multiple packs, don't get me wrong. But that's in a big nutshell. That's basically what Electrolyte Boost is.
Where can people find this product if they want to take it?
For sure, yeah, I appreciate that. It's just on the website electrolyteboost.com. I do tell people if they use the code Eric ERIK and the number 10 Eric 10, they get 10% off of it. And I do make pennies off of people buying with that code. But ultimately, my biggest thing is to get more of the word out. So if you go to electrolyteboost.com, you'll see it on there. And there's always like looking for investors and that sort of thing too. So if anyone is ever interested, they could always ask and look into it. I'm hoping that it kind of blows up in a good way. And yeah, that's pretty much what that is.
Hey, gamers, I understand he said, get your ass up. You still got to go to the bathroom and stuff. Because all the gamers heard was, oh, I can still get this in by you using the note. Get your ass up, still go to the bathroom. You need to use the bathroom, go. Call of Duty, I know your online buddies and stuff. Hey, yo, give me a little minute. Save me, protect me, get around me just in case anybody want to, shoot me. Anybody that's on NBA 2K, just sit on the court side for a little minute. Your Madden guys, I know you guys got to be in it because that game ain't pausing for nothing because usually most people get pissed off and mad. But I'm glad to have you on today, man. You dropped a lot of gems. And hold up. Let me say that, no, I need to throw this in here. What vitamins or what do you prefer for kids to take when it's not becoming an athlete, but everyday vitamin? What would you prefer for a parent to give their kids? Because I feel like when they go to school, they're not getting those vitamins. They're not getting the vitamins they need to take, and we're not even eating the correct food because you go in school, the lunch sucks.
And we got to change that.
Yeah, the school lunch sucks because back in the day, I remember when you used to walk to school, you knew the school lunch was good when you could smell that motherfucker from a mile away. You could be upstairs in the building, back of the school, anything. That's when you know it was good food because you could smell it. But what would you tell these parents? Hey, what type of advice you can give parents to say this is the type of vitamins the kids need to start taking so we don't become one of those statistics on the CDC or anything of that nature of saying you're getting diabetes as you got older or so on and so
on? It's tough to answer, to give just like a blanket answer for it, but it does kind of start at home with like the food that the children have access to. Again, giving you props for having fruit available at your house. Eating more plants is going to be beneficial, right? As far as a supplement specifically, I think for children, something like a multivitamin, it won't hurt because you're getting a wide range of different vitamins and minerals. This is, again, just a generalization, not medical advice or anything like that.
We're not giving medical advice. I'm just giving you the foundation of what we need to start with because as we build now, I feel like you would keep learning and more to what other supplements you may need to make your body feel. Because I take sea moss. And that's like an everyday supplement for me. Then I take my vitamin D because once upon a time, you can ask him, I had vitamin D deficiency. So they was putting me on supplements I needed to start with and keep continuing. And that's why I look as beautiful as I look now. Because I started on something and I continued it. So he's not telling you medical thing, but he's just trying to give you advice on where to start for your kids.
Yeah. And based on some of the patterns that I've seen from just either data or patients throughout the years, vitamin D is actually a very common deficiency. Of course, if you can get blood work, talk with your physician and all of that, it's important. But vitamin D might be one for parents to consider for children. Get blood work first. Something like omega-3 that we get from salmon,
right?
Omega-3 fish oil, that could be a potential for children. Even, and you talk about like getting into sports and whatnot, especially if there's risk of a concussion, creatine for children is also okay. Assuming, again, that there's no kidney or liver issues, again, any contraindications. And also protein supplements. They're also okay for children to get. Remember, children are growing. They need protein, just like adults need protein. Potentially more important for them, not to make it a us versus them thing, but potentially, because they're growing. So it's okay if they use like a protein shake or something like that, right? If it makes it easier for them to get that. I would kind of just start off with those. There's plenty of other rabbit holes I could go down.
Yeah.
From magnesium, potentially even making sure they're getting enough iodine, which you do get some in sea moss. Like important for thyroid function, right? But just kind of starting off like those Flintstone vitamins that we used to get back in the days, just a multivitamin. So something like that, like a multivitamin.
I remember those.
Potentially vitamin D. Something like creatine might be beneficial, and protein is always a good go-to for them.
So guys, you heard it here first about your nutrition. Where could they find you?
Yeah, I think the best place is Instagram, just at Eric Bustillo, ErikBustillo. I'm on Twitter also, on LinkedIn and all that, but I think Instagram is the best place.
No TikTok?
No TikTok. No.
Okay.
No TikTok. Down in Miami, find me in Coconut Grove, CrossFit Coconut Grove, and yeah, that's that.
So guys, you heard it here first. Sit down, listen to this with your family, your loved ones that having the health efficient, and you heard some gems in here, and especially for your kids. Make sure you look at this 2 or 3 times, not just once, but look at this show 2 or 3 times because this is very important for our health. Our health is our wealth. Without our health, damn the wealth. Only the wealth going to be good for is putting us 6 feet under. Mm-hmm. And we need to be here as long as we possibly can. And I'm thankful for you guys tuning in today. I'm thank Eric for coming. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hey man, let's keep being consistent. Consistent elevation will cost expansion. Allow our mind to expand on subjects like this. I thank you. Tune in. You can find us on TikTok, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Instagram, Prolific Mindset Podcast. Thank you again for tuning in today. Love you. Have a blessed week.